I normally cycle on the turbo trainer topless, but I didn't want to have to put a parental advisory sticker on this video, and maybe young kids are watching, so I'm repping my Smilinggg jersey, product placement. It's been a turbulent week, both good moments and not so good, which I'll get into. But first of all, I want to just say a huge thank you to all the donations. The last time I looked, we sat at I think £1,640, and that's 27% towards the grand total. It was an incredible week, and that was largely triggered by Davina McCall, who is I guess a celebrity in England who's very into her health and fitness. She lives locally to me, and I tweeted her just requesting her presence during the week to come and cycle with me or to run with me or whatever. She couldn't, but she generously tweeted out to all her 2.8 million followers. She donated a generous sum of money, and that triggered a nice flow of income, and that's a big part of why we're sat at such a beautiful number so early on. So that money is going direct to Mind, the mental health charity, and the Samaritans charity. But I do just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's donated, everyone that's shared anything I'm doing. So next, I think let's talk the training. This past week, training has been good. I've ticked off every single session, which is the most important thing. It's been quite a cycling dominant week. I do need to just mention that I'm following a plan from a chap called Jerry Duffy. Jerry Duffy wrote a book called Tick Tock 10, and he did what's called the Deca Triathlon. And a Deca Triathlon is 10 days, 10 Ironmans. So we did 10 of those in 10 days, and I'm following that kind of closely but modifying accordingly, and so far so good. It's been awesome. But all in all, the training's gone well. I'm still on the turbo trainer. We're expecting a big freeze in the coming days, so I'm going to get the bike serviced once that's passed, because it's really worn the tyres down, the turbo trainer. But the turbo trainer has provided a great level of resistance for the sessions, and I'm feeling particularly fit for that, and that's crossing over to my running, and also I'm sure there's some crossover to the swimming too. I'm going to finish this video with mood. Usually every month or so I have, let's say, 2 to 3 days where I really sink into a negative frame of mind. On Friday and Saturday I felt extremely self-doubtful about this event. I thought, what the hell am I doing? So I suppose you could class it as a bit of a depressive cycle. Now, I've done a bit of research and I have seen some label on it, but I would be interested if other guys notice, maybe for 3 or 4, or even their significant others or their family members, 3 or 4 days each month when perhaps daily habits feel harder. So that's why structure is such a wonderful aspect, isn't it? Because with that you are able to see how your mood is impacting things. Because it's easy for me on the days where I'm feeling like now quite centred, quite rational, quite positive and all things like that, to go about my daily activities, to do everything. But it's on those days where we're tested through our mood or through our emotional state. And I want to just separate this from a feeling of sad if there's a reason for feeling sad, or if you're feeling nervous because there's a reason. This is kind of a unjustified mind fog, and during it, it's very easy to get trapped in it. But it is just an interesting topic that I would be interested to know if anyone else experiences, and how you deal with it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's regarding the mood. I believe next week's quite a even week in terms of swim, bike, run, which will be good, and I'll document bits and pieces accordingly and share how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. But I'm just glad on some weeks, such as this week, particularly when the mood is low, just, you know, the barrier comes down. I lower the barrier in terms of I lower my expectation of the day in terms of what I'm looking to achieve. I make it so easy I can't say no. Granted, yesterday was a 6-hour training ride, so yeah, it's pretty difficult to lower the barrier too much when it's the time, but I had no expectation. If I wanted to just spin the legs really without much wattage, so be it. And on some days it's just about showing up and getting something done. Today, on the other hand, I went with low expectation, but I could just tell within the first few pedals that, you know what, this has the potential to be a really positive and beneficial session, and it turned out extremely beneficial. And I smashed a 3-hour 15-minute workout in 2 hours 57 or something. So yeah, that's about it. No major niggles at this stage. I did feel like I had a bit of a cold coming, but I think I've nipped that in the bud. Feeling good, and I'm feeling centered, positive, but also appreciating what a huge task is ahead of me. But my rational self, which I'd like to think is today, just focuses on taking one day at a time, one workout at a time, one step at a time, one smile at a time. But yeah, ultimately it's just a case of just putting one foot in front of the other, not looking too far ahead, appreciating that all I've got is a limited amount of control in the grand scheme of things, and just focusing on what I am in control of and trying as hard as I can to make peace of all the variables that may or may not go my way between now and the event. Thank you for watching. As always, small pledge on the donation front would be hugely appreciated. I use Virgin Money Giving because you can donate from £1, and every little helps. And again, I'll probably get sued by Tesco now. But yeah, it's true. Every little does help. And you know, if 1 million people donated £1, what do we have? It's £1 million. So small acts really do snowball. They really do escalate. And that's even with the smiling ethos. Is, you know, a smile at a passerby or whatever. You don't know how that can have a ripple effect to the people that he or she then sees, or you know, it's the little small acts of kindness, small acts of generosity that have such a massive impact on the macro level, and sometimes we just don't realise it. I'll love you and leave you. Thank you, and keep smiling. Steps and smiles.